Hello.
Good afternoon. How's it going?
Good afternoon. Going really good. How about you?
I'm doing all right. Although my good weather left me.
Yeah.
Actually,
Sorry.
it's not terrible today.
I have no idea because I'm not in Seattle.
Yeah. It was sunny and 70 on the weekend, but we're not supposed to have weather like that for probably another month again now. So there you go.
Oh, that hurt.
Yeah,
I
it's all
missed
right.
it.
Yeah, it's supposed to, today it's just overcast. I think it's supposed to be raining this weekend though, so we'll see.
Yeah, it does show Friday, Saturday rain.
Yeah.
I feel like I haven't seen you around for like couple of meetings.
Oh, I guess I wasn't on maybe the last 2 weeks. I just been busy with some other stuff that kind of ended up conflicting sometimes with the call. It just kind of happens. Like sometimes I'll get included on another call that's at the same time.
Yeah.
But I'm not convinced the meeting's going to happen today at this rate anyway. So actually, oh, Prachi's here. Hi, Prachi. Go see what's going on. See if Max is going to join.
No, Max is not gonna join. I
He's out.
think he,
Nope, he is
yeah,
out. Yeah, I just checked. I was
yeah.
talking with him
Uh,
yesterday afternoon at length, but I didn't know he was out today. So there you go.
I think his neighborhood or his home is getting a new power pole, so internet is out in his area.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, my power was out for a while yesterday in the middle of the day, but I guess we got a new power pole, but not because the power company was intending it. I'll just put it that way. Somebody else got confused between power poles and roads, I guess. So there you go.
Yeah. Do we have an agenda today?
When I checked, there wasn't anything on it for today. Nope, I don't see anything in the agenda for today.
Yep.
Would you happen to know if Surtesh or Rita are gonna join? Because I'm guessing if either of
Yeah,
them or Max are coming, then like it's kind of a.
yeah. I'm trying to figure it out if they're gonna join or not. Give me just
I know
Oh,
Max is out of office. So.
yeah, we know Max isn't coming, but I was gonna say if Max are, but I see Surtesh is joining right now, so I was gonna say
okay.
if none of those three are here, then it's kind of not gonna really.
Sorry, I'm like, I was replying to a GitHub issue and then forgot.
Oh, no worries. We were just wondering if either you or Rita were going to be here. That was all.
Let me check with Rita. Okay. Do we have anything on the agenda?
Not as of when I looked 60 seconds ago, anyway.
Oh, Andrew, you were not here in the last call. We talked about policy library for VAP next steps. So just FYI.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I did see it in the minutes, so I was going to read through that.
Oh, cool.
Thanks. Also, Max and I talked a little bit about it yesterday too, so I'll get caught up on it.
Awesome. Does anybody have any agenda items? And if not, we can probably just keep the time back.
Yeah, like Prachi, I didn't have anything in particular. Just I hadn't managed to get here in the last 2 or 3 weeks, so I made an extra special attention to get here today.
Yeah. I think Rita is joining. Let's see if she has any agenda items. Hey, Rita.
Hey. Thanks for the ping. Sorry, I wasn't looking at the time. Do we have any agenda?
Yeah, there's no agenda. We were just talking if you should call it.
I see. Is there any PR, any issue that anybody wants to bring up? Okay, I don't have any topic is either, so.
Yeah, and then I was just giving Andrew heads up about the policy library changes. We talked about it on the last call, I think. I'm not sure if you were here. You might not be here.
Yeah, I was.
Okay, yeah, the notes are in the agenda.
I see. I think as far as VAP feature is concerned, I saw the framework bump. So once that's in, then I think I think Max wants to add the default behavior. So that's like another one. And then other than that, so basically making sure Gatekeeper connects with the framework bump that is happening.
Which default behavior? We talked about this for the constraint templates, but I think I mentioned to Max that we already have it with the label or annotation, but the use wrap thing. So we already have that.
This is the, give me 1 second. So in the PR, in the framework PR, there is a PR for ask switch for whether VAP or webhook should enforce constraints, right?
Mhm.
Let me just paste it here. What is it? Here. I put it in the chat. There is a system level default. So VAP default, like generate VAP default. That's the one. So basically Gatekeeper needs to tell framework like what is the default one that I want.
I thought your PR already added that
No,
flag?
this
Oh,
is
okay.
new. Yeah.
I see.
This is the I have so my PR talks about the default like flag behavior. Like by default is the flag on or off basically, right? But
Right.
then the one that I'm talking in that PR is for what is the default behavior in terms of when there's a request, should VAP handle it or Gatekeeper should handle it?
How is that different from the Gatekeeper one? I'm trying to understand.
Yeah, because one is, are we generating VAP or not? Right?
Yeah.
One is, we are telling framework, are we generating VAP or not?
So the framework one is a generic one. It would work without Gatekeeper too.
Mm-hmm.
I see, but we don't technically need it for Gatekeeper. Because if Gatekeeper is
I think we do need it for Gatekeeper because if we don't set it, like you can see from the unit test, if we don't set it, then the labels that users add cannot override it. There's like a weird thing.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So it's like a way for the driver consumer to tell us, you know, what is the behavior we want to see? Are we okay with the constraint template and constraint authors overriding the default or not. It's kind of basically doing that.
Got it. So your PR added like a global check for the default. This is for granular for per policy.
No, it's basically I added to Gatekeeper, but Gatekeeper needs to now set the default for the framework so that how we handle if VAP should handle it or Gatekeeper should handle it, we'll use that information.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of confusing, I know. I think it's confusing because it's not overwritable if it's not set.
I see, but no, I'm confused because in the demo you showed you were able to change the behavior.
Oh
Without
yeah,
next-
okay, I see your question. The difference is the demo I showed basically always assumes what you don't see is because VAP controller handles the request first, you don't see how Gatekeeper is blocking it, right? But let's say VAP the VAP controller didn't work for some reason, Gatekeeper would actually kick in. Does that make sense?
Oh, I see. This is more like
Yeah.
a fallback sort of thing. Difference. Is
Well,
that it?
no, in reality, we don't want both of them, right? In reality, you only
Oh,
want
I
one
see.
of them.
I
right?
see. So Gatekeeper gets out of the way in this case. I see. Okay.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, in an event where, let's say, VAP controller is not working for some reason, like Gatekeeper would not block it, right? Versus in some cases, we would want Gatekeeper to handle it, right? Anyway, that's kind of the TLDR there. So that's a to-do, which should be a really quick PR. It's just like a flag.
This is a flag for the Gatekeeper.
That's right, for the Gatekeeper to pass to the driver.
Yes.
Yeah, and then there's, I believe, another pending item for the Helm chart updates, right? Because everything is just flags right now, command line flags. So other than that, I think those are the only blockers for alpha, for VAP. I don't think there's anything else. Let me look at the issues. 1 second. Was there any other issues that you are aware that would block alpha release? Let me see. Oh. Those are the ones that I'm aware of. But
Yeah,
only
that
one
makes
is
sense.
blocking.
I mean, I didn't even know about the framework spear actually. So because we talked about in the last call that we could create a new beta, and then this is the beta 2, beta 1 that we created. So I thought that was enough, but because
I mean,
yeah,
it's enough to show something,
Yeah.
but obviously we want to make sure only one policy controller is evaluating the request.
yeah, makes sense.
But it's kind of abstracted to the user.
I have a question. So why don't we want fallback in case of one webhook fails?
You mean
Like this flag will enable either or behavior, right? If VAP fails, or VAP is
Yeah.
failing, even though the resource is violating, it will be admitted to the cluster. So why don't we want that behavior where gatekeeper acts as a backup to actually enforce something that user wants to enforce?
maybe as a backup, but I don't know how we can do the backup thing because I think right now the webhook is still processing it. So when that happens, imagine let's say you have a log denied, then it would log it. I mean, just extra, extra calls, I guess.
So what is the current behavior where, let's say, web is enabled, and so that request is handled by API server, but we are still deploying the validation webhook that is gatekeeper, right?
Oh yeah, the webhook will be there, right? But the point is when the request hits gatekeeper, if gatekeeper sees like, oh, for this particular request and constraint, in the combination of constraint and constraint template, it should be handled by VAP, it will just basically skip.
So
Does that
okay.
make sense?
So there is no way for gatekeeper webhook to see if this request is already handled by web or not, and that's why we don't want to duplicate that. So we can't really make that choice of having gatekeeper as a backup web.
Yeah, that's the idea.
Okay, got it.
And
Thanks.
let me just pull up the design doc real quick, because this is also described in there why we want to do that. Give me 1 second. Where is the let me put it in here. So y'all can tag along. If you scroll to what is this? Sorry, I'm trying to look for it. Yeah, so duplicate emission violations. If a constraint is enforced by both VAP and gatekeeper webhook, it is possible for each to throw a violation for the same request, resulting in user receiving duplicate violations. And because of eventual consistency, some of the behavior is unavoidable when changing their blah, blah, blah. To fix this, this is where I had to add the, is a mission request from gatekeeper and passing it that to the driver, right? When the review function is called, and this is what I meant by then when the review function sees that, hey, this is a mission request, and we know that it should be processed by VAP, I'm gonna ignore it. Yeah. But I hear you, like I think the hard part is like, how do you know VAP failed? Yeah. Okay.
Can it fail because it's done in Kubernetes?
Anything's possible, right?
I mean, but does it fail open or does it fail closed? Because if it failed closed, I suppose it doesn't even matter then.
For now, it fails open.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because of that issue that I presented last time. We are hitting a really corner case where we're creating the custom resources that are used in the VAP resource, and VAP gets very confused, and it takes 30 seconds for that reconcile loop to finish. Up to 30 seconds. And so this is not great, obviously. The VAP feature folks are aware of this, but I don't think there's an easy fix for it. So until that's fixed, I don't think we should do fail close.
I mean, that's an interesting
Okay.
point. Like, will Kubernetes like call the webhooks if VAP fails open? I am guessing not.
I mean, it
Um,
should, because there's lots of webhooks. Like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
like
Like-
the
Yeah.
normal process will definitely, like all the in-tree controllers get called first and then they call all the webhooks. But I don't think,
I
not that
see.
I'm aware of that there's any like fallback type of mechanism.
I mean, so technically Gatekeeper can catch it and enforce it, even like with Rego or with like built-in WAP.
Yes, when it fails, but then when it
Yeah.
both works, it could create confusion. Because now both of them are complaining.
But it won't ever come to Gatekeeper if it doesn't fail. I'm just thinking out loud, because if the built-in controller handles, great, it's accepted. It never goes to the. Oh, it still would go
yeah,
to
it
web.
always, yeah, I would go to
It
Gatekeeper
always
though.
goes
In that
to. Yeah. So
the only time it wouldn't go to Gatekeeper, I assume, is
Yeah.
if it triggered and denied it prior to that point.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be weird if it's like it goes to Gatekeeper again.
You'd have to do something weird, like have Cell like actually like modify the resource with some sort of flag to indicate that it had been processed that Gatekeeper would read, and that's I'm not going to suggest doing that. I'm
But-
just going to put it that way.
To your point, Andrew, if web denies something, then it doesn't go to subsequent webhooks, right?
That's what I assume, but it also depends on the ordering. I mean, somebody else probably would know better than me. I have never tested that, but that would be my assumption.
But if that's the case, then we shouldn't be really concerned about
I suppose if you're in some sort of warn condition, you get two
duplication,
messages,
right?
so that would be kind of weird. I don't know if logging might get duplicated too, potentially, right? Still not great is my only thought.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
kind
I
of
think-
confusing, yeah, especially with the order.
Yeah, I don't know how the ordering works. I mean, I'd have to go look. I mean, I'm assuming that probably it's set up so something like VAP would like trigger before third-party webhooks, but that's me making a guess on how I would have written it. Nothing more.
Do you know the order, Rita? The built-in controllers first?
I think it should, but the problem again is I'm not aware of any fallback mechanism today. So, and I'm like, so for example, in my demo, right? That if you remember, it only showed the error from VAP. It didn't show it from Gatekeeper. So something is working there.
Yeah, but like, why wouldn't Gatekeeper also
Yeah,
interpret
I
it
don't know.
again? Yeah.
But technically Gatekeeper is still processing it. So that's what I'm saying is I think it's abstracted from the user, which is good. But you probably don't want the Gatekeeper webhook to continue to process it, right? Because it's not really useful.
Right.
And you know, the webhook is taking up time, right? That's the other problem. But yeah, I don't know why, you know, we'll have to look at the code to see.
I guess maybe after Gatekeeper generates the WAP resource, it doesn't actually enforce it as like a even though the call comes back to the webhook and then comes to Gatekeeper, it is like I already generated, so I am not taking any action.
Well, sorry, before this PR that we're talking about, the Gatekeeper webhook would still process it. Right?
Yeah, after this PR, it
Sorry,
would come
let me
to it.
rephrase that. Gatekeeper webhook will always process it. It's just with this PR, it will see that the app is handling it. So I'm skip like
Yeah, makes sense.
like shortcut, short circuit basically. Whereas without this, Gatekeeper will always call OPA and call eval, right? Which is, you know, because we know Gatekeeper can handle it, but that's how we get the audit results, right? So we need that in Gatekeeper for audit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you when you were doing your demo, have you tested with both Rego and Cell?
You mean multiple
in a
policies,
single constraint template, yeah.
not in a single constraint template.
Because that's what we're thinking for the policy library, and I think Max was saying that the cell would be prioritized.
I see.
And then I was thinking like, hey, if gatekeeper would get the request again, would it trigger the request again, either cell or rego? I guess cell was prioritized, so should not.
What do you mean by triggered again?
So like without the last PR, Max's frameworks PR,
Mhm.
so during your demo, if gatekeeper were to receive the request again, right?
Yeah,
Say via both cell and rego, will it enforce? And it sounds like that was a yes before. And I'm guessing it would prioritize cell, and then even if there was a rego.
I think again, even if let's say there's a rego policy that gatekeeper kicks in, it wouldn't matter because I think the VAP one will kick in first.
Yeah, that's what so I was just thinking not for that one, yeah.
Right.
Because we don't want us to process it with rego after the built-in controller.
Right, but what? Yeah. Okay.
That could be a good fallback though. That's kind of interesting.
I don't see how we can fall back. I'm still confused about that. Because you can't have you either
Like
say VAP is going to handle it.
Yeah, I was saying the gatekeeper creates the VAP resource, right? Say, and then the built-in controller fails open, right? And then it comes back to gatekeeper anyway, right? Because it's a webhook. And then where gatekeeper could say, hey, I already tried cell. I'm gonna say I'm gonna try rego this time, and it could fall back like that, maybe.
Ah, I see. But then if you do it that way, you still have the same problem today where both are processing. Because the rego one will continue to process.
Right.
Again, there's no way for the webhook to know the other guy failed. Now I want to take over.
Yeah.
Because both of them are mutually exclusive in
maybe the only way to tell is that because gatekeeper tried to create a VAP resource and then it came back to it. Yeah, I guess there's no way. Yeah, never mind. Sorry.
I know. Yeah.
It just breaks.
I think we're raising a good point though. Maybe there should be like a fallback mechanism in Kubernetes, right? Maybe there is. I'm just not aware of it.
Yeah, so I have that question, like what is the purpose of calling subsequent validating webhook or if web or one like inbuilt Kubernetes webhook denies the request anyways?
Well, I'm not sure it does. I think they're thinking if it doesn't deny it and fails open, then do you have gatekeeper try and take a second hash at it? But I think what the question is do the webhooks have any sort of out of band annotation? Because what you really need is the inbuilt one to be able to like add some sort of metadata to the request saying that it already passed through this one or didn't, so gatekeeper would know. But I don't know that that is happening right now. I think that's kind of where the future request would be useful.
Yeah.
Where can I read up on this? Like the execution order.
I was gonna say the source code would be the only thing I could think of, but I don't feel like doing that this afternoon. Somebody else might know better.
There is a list in the source code. It's like order of operation.
Well, whoever wants to go look at it, maybe report back. Like I personally, I'm interested. So if I get to it, I'll share. But if you guys get to it first, please share. Yeah.
I'll try to find it. I'll let you. I had it somewhere.
Yeah, I could also think there could be some like security implementations of that kind of capabilities we're talking about, because you would need probably to have some sort of concept of webhooks that are optional or something like that. So you don't have like webhooks skipping other webhooks, like kind of weird things I could think of.
Well, for validation is kind of weird because I think they all get called at the same time. But like say the authorization webhook stuff, like the one that I've been working on recently, that one is sequential.
Okay.
So if like, you know, So this is the structure auth feature that's going to beta in 1.30. So with this, you can specify multiple webhooks and the different authorizers. So if any one of the authorizers, say blocked it or failed it, it wouldn't continue as you would imagine, right?
Yep.
So I think for validating, maybe because everybody is doing at the same time, that makes it harder, way harder.
No, and the other thing I'll just say is anecdotally, it's already a big problem with the amount of latency a lot of the webhooks cause in general. So that's a whole nother topic that like people are not going to want to do anything to like make that longer as it is. Especially if we're talking about some like that could be using external data like Gatekeeper can, which is even more painful sometimes. I'll just put it that way. But timeouts are already an issue for me when I'm doing weird stuff with clusters.
Yeah. Okay, so I think, so again, I just want to make sure there's nothing else that's blocking VAP alpha, right? So if we're good, then let's just move on to the next topic.
I don't think there is a topic next, but I do have one more question. So I have this PR up for the design of scoped enforcement action. And the changes I made is not really compatible with the master gatekeeper that's there on
You
the
mean the frameworks one, Jay, right?
Yeah, right. So in the frameworks one, I needed to change the signature of review methods, and that review method is not really like the signature doesn't match on the one that's on the gatekeeper source code right now, because my gatekeeper PR is not merged upstream. So now the CI check for gatekeeper test is failing. How do I get around that?
You can't. It's fine. It's just supposed to be informing, not like blocking.
Okay. Cool.
What usually folks do, like PR authors do, is they just use the frameworks changes in their gatekeeper PR and then run the E2E, update the E2E to reflect the changes, and then point to the test and say, look, the change passed on gatekeeper. That's how I would do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in your gatekeeper PR, change the Go mod to replace the frameworks with your own fork, and then there you go.
Even if I just push the vendor into the PR, it should work, right?
You mean your forked into vendor?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you push the PR and then you go mod tidy, and then you have to use go mod vendor too. Otherwise, it will error out, and then the vendor stuff will be your changes.
Any other topic? Oh, actually, I did have a question about all the other issues for milestone 316. Are we, let's just take a look at it real quick. We still have a lot to do, right?
Some of them are aspirational.
Okay, so that one.
Sounds like we need the Helm chart, right? I should we move that to the top? I can do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Design, implement, batch publishing for PubSub.
I don't think that would make it. Is that right, Jay?
Yeah, that wouldn't make it. And for adding PubSub to validation webhook, that also is a little far-fetched.
Oh, okay. I mean, we still have a month and a couple of days left.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So there is one more, I don't say it over here, but that's in pipeline. That's implementing CRD, custom CRD for PubSub. And I have been working on design for that one whenever I get some time. So that's in front of the pipeline than these two issues that are tagged for 360.
Sorry, which one is the CRD one?
I'll link it. Wait.
Is that not in 316 right now?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
I
okay.
don't see it.
Okay.
Wait, let me check.
But you're working on the design, not the implementation, right?
Yeah. Design, just a design. Then we'll go through the feedback as well.
Yeah, let's add to 316 and then we can scope it to design if we can get to it.
Yeah, I added to 316. Here is the issue.
Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, and then I moved the doc one at the top that I already have a PR for. That one is good. That was the last thing with the fork, the control runtime fork gun. So I'm extra excited about that.
Yay. Okay. Anything else?
Oh, we have a few CVEs for 314, 315. Do we want to patch those or do we want to wait for somebody to ask?
Wait for someone to ask. Well,
I think we
mainly
had another one
because
with the Docker
mainly
thing.
because I don't want to like cut it and then someone asks for something else and then it generates like yet another
Yeah.
page. Yeah. What do
I think
you
we
think?
talked about having like a cadence for those things, like monthly. So say
Oh
we
yeah.
we check in like we our release cadence is like 3 months. So if every month, so 3 times we check in and then we create like a patch releases. So we could do that. And then if somebody asks, hey, can you do this TV thing? And then we'll be like, okay, wait next month. So we
That could
could
work.
implement that. Yeah.
Yeah, that could work.
Developing habits is hard.
Yeah, but then somebody needs to remind.
Sorry, Rita, I cut you off. You were saying something.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, let's see how we can keep up with that.
Yeah. I think we need to add like the calendar or something to for like alerting. All right, so for this, we're not doing the releases, or are we doing the releases
For which one?
for all of them, basically?
For
14 and
315,
15,
right?
yeah.
Sure, if this is like the monthly thing, March is the first month, we're gonna do it.
Yeah, I think that's a
Okay.
good idea.
Let's do it. And you gotta do it on April 1st, okay?
Can't do it on April 1st. People still think it's a joke. So Jay, I can take off your PRs if you want. That would make it quicker, I think. So and then you can focus on the scoped enforcement action.
Yeah, cool.
Unless somebody else wants to do it. It's not on there.
So the decision is patch releases can be cut every month if there's cherry picks or CD or security patches, right?
Yeah. Or we can say like on demand, but I don't want people to demand like every week. Like So if we miss monthly, then people can say like, hey, there's a CV, then we can get something out.
Okay, or for critical issues, we can put a release on demand.
If monthly release has been passed or something like that, in case we
Wait, that's how decisions are documented.
Yeah.
Yes.
done.
Max is gonna be like, what did you guys do? Just kidding.
We can assign to Max.
Yeah, I'll sign everything. Alrighty. Yeah, bye.
No.
Bye.